On December 29, 2012, Washoe County Sheriff's Office in Nevada received a disturbing 911 call. The caller, 31-year-old Shauna Dodd, said that intruders had entered her home, robbed her, and shot her husband. When deputies arrived on the scene, they found 37-year-old Brad Dodd shot dead in a bedroom. Investigators bring Shauna down to the sheriff's office to ask her what happened, and who might want to kill her husband.
You good? Again, I want to thank you for coming down here. I showed you where the exit door was and where the bathrooms are and everything else. Okay, how did you get up here today?
You brought me.
Okay. The reason I'm asking these questions, even though I know the answers, because I drove, is because this is now being recorded, okay? So I just want to make sure that you're up here. I asked you to come up here and you agreed. Okay, I didn't coerce you or force you to in any way, shape, or form. Okay. I understood that. Yeah, you understand that I told you that, we're going to have to work together as a team.
Yes.
And it's my job now to carry on with it. You pass the torch to me. And that's the reason for this interview now. Okay. I'm just going to start with some basic information, okay, about you. I don't want you to be nervous or anything. All I ask is that you tell me the truth. Okay, that's all we're looking for. We'll have the evidence at the house. We'll have what you told us, what I told us, and we'll go from there, okay? Can you start by spelling your last name? And spell your first name. Okay. I had it as two N's, I wasn't sure. What's your middle name, Sean? When were you born? And social security number? How tall are you? How tall are you?
5'2".
How much do you weigh? What color hair?
Blonde.
Eyes?
Hazel.
And it's 6:13 in the morning on December 29th, 2012. So the easiest way to do this is just for you to just tell me the story, okay? If that's okay with you, then I'll have you start, let's say the morning of the 28th. I understand that works.
Okay, so the morning, he got up, I didn't want to drive him in, so I told him to take the car again, like I told him the day before.
Okay. Was that because of the snow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like having to drive all the way to Sparks and back on the weather.
What's he do for a living?
He's a painter.
Okay. Is he working for a company or on his own or what?
Vision designs painting.
Okay. So he left for work this morning. So how many cars do you have?
The one that runs.
Okay. And is that the Yukon?
Yes.
That's white, right?
Yes.
Okay. And is that the one you drove over to your aunt's house? Okay. So he left for the day, so does that keep you pretty much homebound, or do people come and pick you up?
No,
or?
it keeps me at home.
Okay.
I was at home with the kids until, he got home between 4:30, 4:45-ish, and then I took the kids up to his stepdad and his mom. His mom wasn't there yet. So.
And which two kids are you talking about?
Our two kids.
What are their names? They're all dogs. And Simon, you said?
Brad.
Where do you get Tyler from? How old? Yeah. For the second, sorry.
5.
We don't use
Don't want him to be picked on and called B or something.
Yeah, I guess they got to worry about that. What's the thing? And what's Brent's?
3:28:07.
So about 4:45.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying too close attention to the clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's about his average time to get home.
Okay. So did you visit for a while once you dropped the kids off?
I just dropped them off, maybe said a few sentences to Greg and went back to the house.
Okay.
The maid warmed him up some pork loin.
Okay.
And he asked for a Jack and Coke. Made him a Jack and Coke. Took him that. He then asked for chili and crackers. So then I made him that. And he just stayed in the room, smoked, did his thing. And we're in the living room playing the Skylander game that's actually quite addicting. Got it from my And checked on him a few times, made sure he didn't need anything, because that's just what I'm supposed to do. And he seemed fine. He dozed off at some point. Say about 10:30 is about when I went to bed. I think that was the last time I looked at the clock. I watched a little bit of TV in bed and then turned off TV and was just kind of laying there trying to fall asleep. And then I heard what sounded like the front door, which caught me off guard, so I'm nudging him. Hey, I hear something's not right. He's snoring away. So I get up. I walk around, because our room's here, and I walk, and the shelf is right here. It's a built-in bookshelf. And it has shoes and had a bunch of random stuff on it, and the gun had been put up there because I didn't want the kids to get to it. So I walk around, and I'm kind of looking. I don't see anything. I go to reach up, and I felt something on the back of my head. I'm pretty sure it was a gun. And then an arm come around and pulled this arm down and took my gun. And then they asked me, where's the at? I'm all, what? No, the safe. So as I'm just thinking, please don't, I'm a mom, I have all this stuff running through my head. I take him to the room. The safe is in the closet. When you come into the room, the closet's over here. You walk in, and it's in the corner, and they wouldn't let me turn on the light. They had a flashlight. So I did the combination. Took me a couple of tries. I got it open. Every time I tried to glance up, the flashlight got shined in my eyes. I was proceeding to pull everything out. And then said, what's going on? And then there were 2 gunshots. I handed everything over. I stayed in the closet. I heard crashing out in the kitchen area. Then I heard go, go, go. I heard the front door slam. And that's when I got up. I turned on the light. And I saw my husband laying in his own blood. So I ran out of the room. And I closed to get in the car. And so I just grabbed her bag and their purses. And I ran back in the room to grab my shoes. Out of the car and I went straight to my aunt's house.
Your aunt's house, what'd you do?
I woke up, I told her what had happened, and I answered for the phone and called 911. I spoke to the gal on the phone. My aunt was going to get her shoes on and go down to my house. And I was going to go back with her just because I probably shouldn't have left in the first place, but the only thing running through my head was I had to get her out of there after seeing the way he was. What if they were to come back? I was so scared. The gal on the phone phone with 911, told me not to go back down there. So I stayed put until the cops showed up.
Okay. Then 2 deputies came to the house. Okay.
I told them what happened. They were very, very nice. They were on statements. I was very shaky, and I don't even know how to describe the mindset. It was what I had seen. It's not something I ever wanted to see. I keep trying to keep it together, but it's just burned into my brain.
That's okay. That's why I'm giving you time. It's just so you can keep control.
Trying to remember everything that happened with the cops. I explained everything, wrote the statements, kept asking if they knew anything. Just wanted to know how he was. Even though after seeing what I saw, I pretty much already had a pretty good idea. But I was just hoping. They tried to, keep me from thinking about it here and there, which I thought was thoughtful, but it's not something that you can just push to the side.
When you first went to bed, where was that?
She had gone to bed too.
In her room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually when she goes to bed, from what I've seen, there's times I've had to go in and turn off TV or something playing there with the headphones in. And I startle every freaking time if she is awake. I can stand in her doorway for 20 minutes before she realizes I'm there.
Did you go to bed too?
I've already been in bed.
Was he sleeping when you went?
He was off and on every time I came in the room. It was, when are you coming to bed?
Okay. And did so you fall asleep? Did you fall asleep?
I may have dozed off for a moment, not very long.
It wasn't very long. And what's the first thing you hear that's out of the ordinary?
The click of the door.
Which door?
The front door.
How many
and
doors?
I'm fairly familiar with that door since she likes to go out in the middle of the night.
Who does?
Outside, smoke a cigarette, so I'm familiar with that sound.
Okay. So
and I can see the doorway from where I'm at. So initially I heard it, I'm laying there. I didn't hear her walk to her room and open her door because she has a slider door. So that's how I always know it's her. I can hear it. I didn't hear that. I didn't see a bathroom light turn on. I can see all that.
Okay. Do you keep that door locked?
Most of the time, yes. There are times that we don't. It's Washoe Valley.
Yeah.
I don't even lock my car.
Is there any other doors to your house?
There's a back door to the dog pen.
To the dog pen? Is it?
Yeah, it's in the front of the house. You'd have to go through the dog pen and through another gate or up the dog ramp.
Okay.
Then it has a dog door in it, and it's a regular door with a dog door. I just call it.
Okay. Any other doors? Just those 2 doors? Okay. Do you keep that door locked?
No, because lots of dogs would do something. Apparently that proved me wrong.
Okay.
Because they were in the house.
The dogs?
From what I know.
Okay.
And they usually bark at everything during the day.
Did you hear them barking? Okay. And then, so you hear this, what you think is the front door. So then what do?
I was nudging him. Saying, it's all right. Trying to wake him up.
Did he wake up? Okay.
No, he was snoring.
And so then what do?
I got up.
And you just walked
For
toward...
concern, I got up. I walked out of the room. Walked straight for where the gun was.
And where's the gun again?
I had left it on the shelf. There's a built-in bookshelf. I had left it on the top shelf.
And what kind of gun is it?
I haven't had it very long. It was a 40 cal XD is all I know. I don't know who made it.
Is it a pistol?
It was a handgun.
Okay. Black or silver?
Silver with a black handle.
Okay.
I know that the case to it is under my bed, where it had all the different grips. It was actually a nice little gun.
Okay. Have you shot that gun before?
I have.
When's the last time you shot it?
Thursday when he got off work, we went up to the hills and emptied a clip. The empty clip is actually sitting on my dresser.
Okay.
Because he was joking at me about needing to get target, because apparently I shoot funny.
When's the last time was that the last time he shot it that you know of?
I don't think he shot it at all that day.
He didn't even shoot it that day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He wanted to see me do it.
Okay.
So was that Thursday, 3 days ago?
It was about normal time he got off work.
But this
Yeah.
last Thursday we had, which was like 3 days ago.
That was the last time I shot it. The first time that I shot it with him was Christmas Day.
And you were telling me in the car that that is now the only gun in the house?
I made him get rid of the 223. I actually didn't even want a gun in the house.
Do you know what do you do with the 223?
He traded it for that. That's all he told me. He wouldn't tell me anymore.
But it came with a box and everything? Do you think he traded it into a store, or do you think he did a private sale?
I think it was a private, because there was no paperwork. I asked him how I had to go about getting it registered, and he couldn't answer my question, so I asked around, and I was told to bring it down here, so that was supposed to happen this week.
Okay, and you were keeping it on the shelf, you said?
I would either keep it in the shelf, or there were times I would put it up in the shelf in my room. The last couple of days, I just left it out there.
And then where were you when you were first grabbed?
I was in front of the shelf reaching up to grab it.
Did you actually grab it? Did you touch it at all?
I touched it.
You got to it?
Because it was upside down, so I was able to touch the handle. I don't know what you call it. But then it got snagged, and I got grabbed. I had the arm like this.
So you never had it in your hand?
It was a long arm.
You
know that? I never actually had it in my hand.
Okay.
And when you went shooting on Thursday, did he show you how to clean the firearm? Okay, so do you have a cleaning kit? You don't know? Okay. And then when you were shooting it, do you know the difference between a revolver and a pistol?
That's a pistol. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
He told me it was a semi-automatic.
Okay. So when you were firing it, how did it work? Just describe the action for me.
Well, you had to cock it, and then it had the double trigger on it.
And how did you cock it?
My hand is. I would do it this way.
On the top, you pull the top back, so it was a slide?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be a semi-automatic pistol. Okay.
I'm not very knowledgeable.
No, that's okay. That's what I was asking. Okay.
I've never owned one.
And then going back to when you said it was a long arm, could you tell if it was a boy or a girl?
I would have to say it had to have been a guy. It was pretty stout, from what I could tell. And I would have to say they're fairly tall, because where the arm was, I couldn't feel anything there except for that back here. But usually you figure somebody's holding you. I've seen tall people with long arms, and he had pretty big arms. And by the sound of the voice, I'd have to say it was a man.
Was he talking normally? Was he whispering? Was he yelling?
It was low. It was a low, deep voice.
Okay.
It wasn't a normal talk, kind of like we are. It was very.
Was there more than one person, or was there?
I would have to say that there was, because when I was getting into the safe, one had the flashlight on me, and then my husband gets shot as that's happening. There had to be more than one.
Okay, now where's the safe located again?
In the closet.
Of which room?
My bedroom.
Okay.
I couldn't see the bed because there was a dresser up against it with the TV, and then I blocked so I couldn't see him, and it was dark anyway.
Did you say that you were watching TV as you were falling asleep before?
I turned it off.
Oh, you turned it off?
Yeah.
Is there any other ambient light or any other light sources through the windows or anything like that?
They're normal.
They're normal?
I really couldn't see anything.
Did you tell where was that when you walked back into the room?
When I got out of the closet?
No, as you were going into the room?
Oh, no.
Towards the safe?
I couldn't see him. The TV, where the TV sits, it was at the foot of our bed. I couldn't see him.
Okay. So you can't see.
I only saw him when I turned on the light after they left.
So if you're in the bed, you can't see out into the hallway?
If I'm in the bed on my side, because my side is the closest to the bathroom because of the kids, if I move just right, I can look out there. And when I initially heard it, thought it was when I didn't hear the slider, that's when I proceeded to try to wake him, and then that's when I started to go, okay. Didn't see the bathroom light kick on, didn't hear the slider.
Okay.
And then when he didn't wake up,
so you
maybe
led,
I shouldn't have got up.
So you led the people into the room over to the closet?
I just didn't want to get hurt or shot.
Okay.
When you touched the gun on the shelf, almost get it, but not quite, did you...
I couldn't see, so it was I felt the bottom of it.
What did you feel? Did you feel anything else on any part of your body?
This was first.
What did you feel back here?
It felt like the end of a gun, because I've had it happen before.
Okay. So it felt like a gun being placed in the back of your head? But that was right at you. But you knew it wasn't that gun, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. Now, based on what little bit of these guys' size or stuff that you see, I know you didn't see a lot, and you heard a little bit of voice. Did you recognize that voice or anything about them at all?
No.
There was a while back an altercation at the bar you worked at between and
I can damn near promise it wasn't either one of them.
It wasn't those guys.
They are tall and about this big.
And you know their voices.
Oh yeah. I was their bartender for a while. I know them sober. I know them drunk. I know them angry.
So it wasn't those two guys.
I can guarantee it wasn't.
Were they?
This arm was a good size arm.
Okay. All right.
So going towards the safe, where's the safe located in the closet? Where in the closet?
The bottom left corner.
Okay. On the floor? And you said it's a combination lock? Is it like the rotating dial type? Okay.
It's an older one.
And what did you pull out of the safe?
There was a little black jewelry box. I don't know what was in it. There were 4 Ziploc bags full of weed that I didn't know was in there. In a bag. I'd have to say probably a sandwich bag. I don't know how much that would be. Of cocaine. And I thought he was done with that.
Okay. And when you pulled the stuff out, what did you do with it?
I handed it over. I didn't know what to do. I did it like this because every time I looked up, I got the flashlight and I was afraid they were going to hurt me.
Okay. And then what happened after that? You stayed in the closet, you said? And those two guys left?
I heard like crashing, like they were throwing shit around or something. And from what I saw, it looked like it out in the area.
And when did you hear the gunshots?
As I was handing stuff over, must have heard something. And he said something, and then I heard 2 shots as I was doing this, and I just stop. And I just kept going because I didn't want to be next.
So you didn't hear get out of bed or anything?
No.
What kind of bed do you guys have?
Huh?
What kind of bed do you guys have?
A California king.
A traditional mattress, or is it a foam or water bed?
A pillow top. We just got it.
And so what do you suspect? You suspect that he got out of bed?
I don't know if he got out of bed. I just heard him say what's going on.
Okay.
So I don't know if he necessarily moved or maybe he went to see where I was, because he'll do that sometimes. If I get up to go to the bathroom, he'll come out and he'll be passing my side of the bed going, where are you?
And you were in the closet and you stayed there when you were hearing the noises outside. How long do you think they were out there? Now, time is distorted, and I understand that, but...
I really don't know. Maybe a minute.
Okay.
I don't know.
And what did you hear next?
Go, go, go. And then the front door slammed.
Okay. So you distinctly heard the front door both times.
Yes.
Coming in and then going out. And you normally don't lock your doors.
It depends. I mean, there's times I do, times I don't.
And,
I've never felt threatened.
and I don't recall what you said. Did you lock it that night?
Apparently not.
Okay. You don't remember specifically locking it?
Between me and her, there's times we'll go out, have a cigarette, come back in, and forget. There's times one of us will remember. There's times one of us getting up at 2 a.m. going, oh crap. Because there are times that if he sees that door unlocked, he'd flip out. Don't blame him.
So what'd you do once you left the closet?
I turned on the light.
To what? Light where?
The bedroom light is right by this closet.
Okay.
And the door.
Okay.
I turned on the light to check on Brad.
And what'd you see?
Blood squirting out of his neck. And the bed was full of blood. It looked like he was shot in the back of the head, too.
And was he on the bed?
Huh?
Was he on the bed? Okay, and then what did you do?
I turned off the light, and I went for Allie, and then I ran back in and felt for my shoes and my phone.
Were those on your side of the bed? Just closest to the door? Did you find your phone?
I must have dropped it. I had it in my hands, and then I grabbed my shoes, and I was running out, grabbing my jacket.
Okay. That's what it's not yours, right?
It's fine.
Oh, did you get it from your house?
Uh-huh.
I thought you might have gotten it from
No.
your camp.
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
So that's what you were wearing when you left the house?
Yes, sir.
And then you went and grabbed it. Did you have any difficulty?
No, I immediately ran. I slid open the door and told him to get in the fucking car.
Did she hear you should have music on?
I think the way that I moved fast, because she heard it, was just like,
Okay.
almost shocked.
So how long did it take you to get your shoes and phone and get out of the house?
Maybe a minute or two. I just grabbed and ran.
Okay. And you had the keys? Where were the keys at?
Hanging.
They hang up where?
Right by the door.
Okay.
There's two doors. There's the front door, and then there's another door that always stays open.
Okay.
And the keys are hanging right there.
And then did you drive?
I did.
And where was the Yukon parked in the driveway?
In the front yard, right in front of the steps.
Right in
like
front of
this.
the steps?
The steps are right here. Well, it was parked right here.
Okay. So you got in the driver's side?
Yes.
Did you get in the front passenger, or did you get to a different door?
I think I'm in the back and then over into the front. I don't recall how she got in the car.
You didn't know if she went to the other side or not?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention.
Did she have shoes on?
Yes.
Okay. And then was the car pointed?
I had to back up.
You had to back up.
And pull out.
And do you back
And
all
as
the way?
I was pulling out, I had to hurry up and try to put it in four-wheel drive because I almost got stuck.
When you back out, do you back all the way out to the street and
No.
then go straight?
No, I back up in the yard. there's another car over here. We'll back up over in that general area and then pull out.
Okay, so when you're driving out onto the road, you're already facing forward.
Yes.
Okay. And then did you go anywhere other than your aunt's house?
No.
Okay. Did you get out of the car at any point other than at your aunt's house?
No.
Okay. And now your brother-in-law lives right across the street, doesn't he? Like one house down?
Yes, but I was too scared to go there. It was too close.
Too close to what?
Everything.
Okay.
If they were to come back, he has 2 girls. What if they were to come looking for me, see my car over there? What if I was to walk over there and they were still out there?
And
My first instinct was to go to my aunt's.
And so all of this, you think, happened, this whole incident, between about 10:30 and 11 o'clock? Is that accurate?
No. No, I went to bed about 10:30.
Okay.
I lay there for an hour. It had to have been after midnight.
You think it was sometime after midnight?
I didn't necessarily look at the clock, but it had to have been sometime after that.
Okay. How about this? How long did it take you to get to your aunt's house?
Couple minutes. I went straight there from with the roads. I was just trying to get us there in one piece so I could call and
So from the time that
nobody
you
was
saw,
following me.
from the time that you recognized that it was her until you got to your aunt's house, about how much time had passed?
I don't even think it was 5 minutes. I really don't know.
Okay. A short period of time, though. Okay. Less than half an hour?
Oh, yeah.
So when you leave the house, the last time you saw the one gun was on that
I
shelf?
didn't see it anywhere.
No, I mean, but the last you had felt it was on that shelf. Okay. And that shelf, where that is, because I haven't been inside your house yet, how close, where is that in close to the front door, or where is it at in relation?
Yeah, the front door, washer and dryer, another door that always stays open. The keys are here and the shelf is here.
Okay.
It's a full-on built-in bookshelf. There's shoes and...
So it's pretty close to the front door. Okay. And how long have you been married to, or been with,
14 years.
14 years. And how long have you guys lived in that Washoe Valley area?
It's an off and on, but consistent 4, 5 years, somewhere in there, at that particular residence. Before then, oh God, where did we live before then? Stead, we lived out there.
Okay. And how's your guys' relationship been over the years?
The last 2 years, it's been pretty rocky because I've been wanting him to get out of the drugs, quit being so controlling with everything, his way or no way, wanting him to pay more attention to his kids. It's typical marital, at least I guess it is. My biggest issue was just the fact that we have kids, and he was still attempting to make extra money, which I didn't approve of, and he knew it.
How was he trying to make extra money?
He was trying to sell pot, amongst other things.
Like other drugs? Just so you know, we're not trying to make a case of drugs against anybody. We're just trying to
I'm not necessarily worried about that. I can test clean any given day. Even with the circumstances, still, I'm supposed to have his back. I'm supposed to be there for him.
And this is how you're being informed, because we have to know who it is so that we can find out who the circle that surrounds him, so that we can do our job.
He's not a bad guy.
And we're not saying that he is, but we need that so that we can continue forward. You understand? It's just a factor. It is what it is, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to move this investigation forward. So all of this information is helping us.
Did you guys get in an argument last night?
Like we do every other night, because I come to bed too late.
What was the argument about last night?
Same shit as always. Him wanting to move. Me not getting a reason as to why he wants to move. Me coming to bed too late. Should put the kids to bed earlier. Same stuff as always.
Okay. And when you guys argue, does it get loud?
I try not to let it get loud. You know, there's times that he'll push a button and I'll snap on him and, you know, tell him, look, you know, we don't need to be discussing this. This is something petty. You know, he'll get mad because you don't get sex twice a day. As far as I know, that's a typical male thing. I don't know. But, you know, it's typical to me. That's just what happens. And
have these fights ever got physical?
no. It's never laid a hand on me. Definitely one thing I can say.
Okay. And you said he's not a bad guy?
I don't know, it depends on how you look at it, but I mean, I don't necessarily think he was a bad guy. I think he just, I mean, you know, in the long run, because the way that he put it, he was just trying to make sure we had enough money to provide. May not have been 100% in an appropriate way. And he knew how I felt about it.
Was he,
last year, there was a point where, yes, I did tell him that I was done with it all, and he had taken off with the kids for a week to California. He had come back. I agreed to work with everything because I didn't want to lose the kids, and I didn't want him to lose the kids. And so we've been, you know, it's been rocky, but we've been trying to work through it. But then, of course, you know, you get people putting their 2 cents in all the time. You know, regardless, he's the father to my children. I've been with him 14 years. That's not something you just give up on.
Is Brad a jealous guy?
Yeah.
Was there anyone in particular he was jealous over?
There was a guy at the bar, actually. Young guy started coming to the bar. He had witnessed quite a few outbreaks with coming to the bar, but would come in, he'd be puffed up, or, you know, just things he'd say. And there were a few times that I'd be like, hey, man, you know, she's working, you know, why you gotta be like that? You know, just trying to be a friend. And next thing you know, parents somehow got involved and just blew things way out of proportion.
How'd they blow things up?
They went over to my house apparently one day when I was at work and decided to tell my husband that I was getting laid in the bar by their son.
Parents went
And
over.
he is an adult, but his parents, because,
went to Brad. Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So next thing you know, I'm getting phone call after phone call. So I had to quit my job to prove a point.
Did you have any issues recently of making any kind of suicidal threats or anything like that? What was the most recent one?
Oh, God, when did we go see a lawyer? I think it was, oh, God, what day was that? I almost want to say December 13th. If I had a calendar, I could show you.
A couple weeks ago.
We went to see his lawyer.
Who's his lawyer? John?
Yes. And we went to see him about the case from the bar incident where Book got ran over. And he was offered a plea of a gross misdemeanor that had the option to take it fuller. And I guess it was like a 2 to 15. And so I just begged him to take the plea rather than take it all the way because I have the statements. You know, I didn't want to risk the kid's father going to prison for 2 to 15 years. You know, because me and him had an altercation and people felt the need to get involved. Not to say, you know, I appreciated the fact that people were trying to look out for me, but it wasn't any of their business at that point. And so we did that. His lawyer had asked me, he's all between you and me. No DAs, no judges, no nothing like that, just between me and you. Or you and me. Were these guys shithouse drunk? No. It was a league night. There. She's very, very strict about how much them boys drink on a league night.
What kind of league? Darts?
Pool league.
Pool. Okay.
You know, she makes the boys drink water in between every drink. She won't let them take shots while they're playing pool. Those are just her rules, because she's seen them all, you know. Like me as a bartender, you kind of know. And this league is to represent our bar. So, I know for a fact they were not. It asked me. Well, I'm very, very upset. So we leave. He starts telling me I don't know whether or not to knock out the window, get out of the car, drive off a cliff. Maybe I should have shot myself. Okay. And then he just started ranting and raving about the bar and how it was my fault that he was even in that mess. And I'm just, okay, dear, you know, just do whatever. Just move it over. Let's just go home. That's just how I am. I don't want to fight with him. You know, I'm trying to keep my family together. And so that's just how it always ended. Yes, dear. Okay, dear. That's that. You know, calm down, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But that was the last time. The very first time he did it was not too long after he got bailed out, and that's why I made him get rid of the 223.
And now the 223, I heard it's a rifle. Okay, gotcha.
I believe it's classified as an assault rifle. I'm not sure. It looked military to me.
Gotcha. I know.
But that's why I made him get rid of that, because, you know, I'm at work and he's calling me.
Do you know what caliber the pistol is? It's okay if you don't. Like how big the bullets are.
40 cal.
40? Okay. I think you did tell us.
Like I said, I know the case is under the bed. I know that there's the very first bullet that was shot out of it is in the case, because it had a little envelope and it was dated like 2010 or something like that.
Was the gun in a holster or in a box?
I didn't have it in the box. I have the case that it was supposed to be in.
Under the bed. But there's no holster or anything that it was resting in?
No.
Okay.
There is a holster to it, but it wasn't in it.
So you dropped the kids off, you got back home, right?
Yeah.
And you
Fixed
cooked
them
dinner.
something to eat.
How long was all of that? Dinner, how long did it take you for him to eat? And
I don't know, it was a simple reheat.
oh, okay. So everything was fine at that point,
Yeah.
right?
No, we were fine.
Like that. And then what were you doing in between that and going to bed?
You want to bed?
Allison, sorry.
Me and I were sitting there playing video games, Skylanders on the Xbox.
And when did the argument start?
This was yesterday, oh, I thought you meant.
No, I meant last night, I guess. It's
Oh.
so late now.
The only thing he had to say when I come to bed was about time.
So you guys didn't have any argument, like, between Skylander and going to
He
bed?
made a comment about that, but it wasn't.
About Skylander?
Yeah. Oh, about time.
Did he say anything about cocaine or drugs or anything? Did any of that come up?
No, that was a few minutes ago. We had a conversation about that
Okay.
because I had caught him.
And you said at the beginning, you said that he went after dinner. He went to the bedroom and smoked.
So he was sitting in the room the entire time.
In which room?
Our bedroom.
Even when he was eating?
Yeah.
Oh.
He says the couch hurts his back.
And then when he was smoking smoking cigarettes?
No.
Was he smoking pot? Okay. And so when did I go to bed?
About the same time I did. Yeah, it was about 10:30.
So you guys pretty much got up at about the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, we went out, had our final cigarette,
And he wasn't out there when you
No.
were smoking your last cigarette.
No, we don't smoke in the house. We go outside.
Okay.
He's the only one that.
Oh, here's something that might help your memory. So you both went out to the porch to smoke?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where you smoked?
Mm-hmm.
Who came back in first?
I think it was me.
Okay. So she was out there a little bit longer.
I think so.
Okay.
Because I remember making a comment about, it's cold out here. And I ran back in.
Was it snowing?
No, I looked at the car though and went, nice. But
So when you guys are smoking out there, do you stay on the porch or do you walk around? Or
we usually stay on the porch. The only time we get gone and walk around is when we have to feed all the animals.
did you notice when it started snowing in your place?
I don't sit there and stare out the window, sorry.
If you noticed.
The only reason I noticed that it had snowed at all was because when we went out for the final cigarette, there was snow on the car.
Okay.
That was the only way I noticed that anything had happened. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thought twice about it.
When you dropped the kids off around 5, did you have to spray paint snow off?
No.
It was clear. Started earlier in my house.
Oh, yeah, it was still nice when I dropped them off.
So it must have snowed between you get home and the last cigarette.
It must have.
Must have. All right.
When you guys go to leave, I know you're just trying to get out of there. That's your motivation. Did you notice anything unusual or different outside when you go to your car? Was there snow on the ground at that time? Do you remember?
There's snow on the ground from previous. I didn't notice any difference in height of snow. Though, like I said, the only reason I noticed it even snowed was by looking at the top of the car.
Did you notice any footprints or tracks or
I
anything
honestly
like that?
didn't look. I just ran in, jumped in.
Okay. All right.
Did you have to clean the car off before you drove?
I tried. It was one of those get in, hit with the rear windshield wiper and the front windshield wiper and pray for the best.
Let it work. Okay.
Because I didn't want to. I just wanted.
And when did you who did you call 911 or
Yes.
and where did you do that?
From my aunt.
When you got over to your
I
aunt?
couldn't, even if I could have found my cell phone's disconnected at the moment.
Okay.
And like I said, after seeing what I saw.
Okay. Does your phone even allow you to text?
My cell phone?
Yeah.
No, once they disconnected
If
it.
there's nothing at all. Okay. And in the car as we were driving up here, I remember you saying something about smell and that gunpowder smell. It's really strong.
Because when I turned on the light and walked around, I just sat in the bed. And it's just, that's all I could smell.
That was before you put your shoes on? Were you barefoot or did you have socks on?
I was barefoot.
And then thinking back, and I know this is like the hard part to talk about, but thinking back, you're down at the safe and you hear the gunshots. Did it sound like it was super close to your head? Did it sound farther away? Do you have any?
It wasn't super close to my head, I don't think.
Okay. How about your hearing? What was your hearing like?
It was okay. I had a slight ring,
Okay.
but that was about it. I mean, it's loud. Don't get me wrong.
And how many shots did you hear?
2.
Do you have any questions for us right now? Okay. You were asking earlier about if you can choose where he's going to go, and the answer to that is yes. Okay. The first step is the medical examiner is going to.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I work for a funeral home.
Okay, so when they contact you, you're going to be able to make those decisions. Okay, there's nothing you have to think about tonight. Pretty much now, your just only job is to take care of yourself and everything else. Now, there's one thing we'd like to do. Both you and I were in the house, so we'd like to have our people come and take pictures of how you dress now as to how you were when you left the house.
Okay.
Okay, and would that be all right with you? Can you hang in there a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's about 7 o'clock right now.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get that going. I'll get you back with Al. And you can rest your eyes a little bit, and I'll just keep. If you have any questions, just come in and ask. Okay.
Do you know how much longer? Just
It totally depends on how close the person is that I need to see something about FIS. That's it.
When you went to leave, you and Al leave and go to your aunt's, who went out the door first?
yes.
Okay.
Because I realized I couldn't find my phone, and so I was trying to check the hallway.
So it was in between the bedroom and the front door that you...
I had to have.
Okay. Hopefully we'll find it for you. Okay.
All right. Okay, we'll get the rest of that sent down as soon as possible.
Yep.
After comparing Shauna's version of events with evidence collected at the scene, investigators find some troubling inconsistencies. They bring her back in for another round of questioning.
You're still okay to talk to me? I know you're getting tired. I know it's sort of the long day, but you're still okay?
I want this.
Okay. Same everything. Doors are, you know where they are now. You've been back and forth, okay? This door's still just closed for privacy. And it's unlocked. Being recorded again. This is the second interview. This is for the tape. It's October 29th, 2012 at 08:55 hours. I'm Detective Commission number 1949. I'm with. This is in reference to the death investigation at your residence. Can you tell me the address one more time? I keep switching the numbers, so that's all I needed. So I told you one of the scene guys, the guys that was at the scene was there, and I hadn't had an opportunity to talk to you right from the get-go because I went to the house and I went and came and talked to you. So there was some things that were noted that I want to go over with you. The first thing was you were pretty clear about that bookcase, the attached bookcase was next to the door. So you heard the latch on the door. That's the first thing that you noticed as you were sleeping.
Yes.
Or about to fall asleep.
Right.
And then you heard noises.
Yes.
You tried to wake up, and he wasn't waking up. Okay. So tell me what happened there.
When he wouldn't get
When
up.
he wouldn't get up, what did you do?
Where I lay, I kind of leaned over, was looking, listening, didn't see anything.
Okay.
Because where I lay, as long as I lean the right way, I have to lean this way, I can see out our door and into the kitchen.
Okay.
And pretty much into the living room where the first window is.
Okay.
And that's how 9 times out of 10 I know it's out. So like I said, when I didn't hear the slider and I didn't see the bathroom light kick on, because that's usually when you know it's hard, something wasn't right. And when I couldn't wake him up, that's when I got up to check.
Okay. And what did you see when you went out into it's like the living room area, right?
The kitchen area, I first stopped to grab the gun because I was going to go to the window and look out, in the living room and out the window. I didn't see anything.
Okay. So you reached up for the gun?
I turned around, reached up, got the bottom part of the handle.
Grip.
And before I could even grab it, that's when
So you're doing that and you're showing it with your right arm?
I'm right-handed.
Okay. How come you couldn't see them coming through the door?
They had to have already been in.
But you don't know where they were at in the house? Where were they at in the house?
I don't know.
So you heard the door latch and that was the only noise you heard? Okay. The first responding deputies, what they normally do is they do a perimeter around the house, okay? And then they start making their way in. So it's a pretty coordinated movement from out into in. As they were doing that, they noted no adult male footprints in the snow, and you saw how the snow was as you were driving out. There were no footprints around your house other than women's shoes.
Okay.
So how did you told me repeatedly that they went through the front door, so I'm trying to figure out how they got into the
They
house.
had to have. I heard the latch.
Okay,
And
but
the back door is even louder.
there's
So
20, 30, 40 yards, I think, between the roadway and your door, so how did they cross that snow without breaking the snow?
I don't know. I know what I heard. I know what happened. I know what I saw.
Okay. When I was talking to
until about 10:30.
And then she said, came out and you guys started to argue specifically about the cocaine, and she didn't want any part of it. And what she normally does is she goes and listens to her music, so she doesn't have to listen to you guys fight.
She must have misunderstood that one.
So you're saying she was flat wrong on that?
No, I'm saying she must have misunderstood that. He came out at one point, which I did forget about. He came out and sat down and said, "Wait, you're not going to stay out here with us?" And he got pissy. But that's when he went back in the room and everything was fine. At least I thought it was.
You told me the dogs were inside the house?
Yes. I threw them out before we went because I didn't want them to come near him.
When did you throw them out?
As I was going to run out the front door, T-Bone, my black and white one, come towards me and I threw him out.
The front?
The back door.
Back door. The back door close to that.
Door, kitchen, back door.
Okay. And they're pit bulls, right?
Yes.
How old?
13 and 4.
So the 13-year-old, you said usually during the day barks constantly.
No, it's the 4-year-old that usually constantly barks at anything that moves outside. He usually just lays there. My 14-year-old, he don't.
Now I remember seeing, because we get a call, we get a list of the call with what's said. You were worried that the dogs might bite the deputies.
Oh, I didn't say that. My aunt did. They were talking to my
Your aunt did?
and she said that.
But
They hadn't
she's
answered the phone.
familiar with the dogs?
Not really.
Okay.
She
Because
just,
the
she
dogs
wasn't.
wouldn't bite strangers
I
when they come
don't
to your
think
house.
so. I've seen people come in when brought them home and all they do is get all lovey-dovey. When they're outside, they act aggressive. When they're inside, I've never noticed anything.
What route did you take to house?
I went down and around because I was afraid of being followed.
Explain down and around to me.
When I backed out, I went this way. And then around because I was afraid of being followed. Down to my aunt's.
So if your house is here,
I took a detour.
if your house is here and the street's here, which way did you go?
Okay. I pulled out and I went this way. And then that way. And around the block. Because I was afraid
Do you
that
know
they
the
would
street
be out
names?
there. Ormsby.
You're pretty close to Ormsby, right?
Yes. Ormsby.
And that's what you went down was Ormsby?
What was the name of the other one? I want to say that's, no, it's not Churchill. I think that's Ormsby as well. I think they're both Ormsby. I don't take that road very often, but it leads to Douglas.
Ormsby goes all the way down to...
It leads to Douglas.
Okay, so you went Ormsby to Douglas.
Back to Pershing.
Back to Pershing.
And to my aunt's.
Okay.
So
you did not go down to Lakeshore?
No.
Okay. So between Pershing and Lakeshore, there's what we think is either Ormsby again, right?
Pershing and Lakeshore,
Ormsby.
there's White Pine, Lion, and I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Which one? Okay, I know going that way, but so you turned onto Ormsby.
I turned onto Ormsby. I made a left onto Ormsby. A left onto, I believe that
Left
Ormsby.
onto Ormsby.
Yeah, I didn't make a right down towards Lakeshore.
Okay, you took
I went nowhere near Lakeshore.
So you went one
I
straight
just
up?
went around the little block to make sure I was kosher, not having anybody follow me to my aunt's house, and I went straight there.
Okay, and you smoke a cigarette in the meantime?
Like a pinch of one. And that was when I got in my aunt's driveway. It probably should still be in her driveway.
Okay. And you told me that you briefly looked at, and you told me that you didn't remember what position he was in.
I said he was in the bed. You never asked me what position he was
Okay,
in.
do you know what position he was in?
From what I could tell. Because his back was to me. He was on his side.
And the safe is
I think.
in the closet farthest from the door, that corner?
Closet. Here's the side of the closet. It's right in this corner. Right when you
Where's
walk
the
in.
door?
The doors are right here.
The door to the room?
Oh, the door to the room's right here. Door, closet,
And which side of the
safe.
So it's close to the door.
Yes.
Okay.
I was in there. I don't know.
And there's not a lot of space on his side of the bed, right?
No, there's not in.
Okay.
We put him that way for a reason.
The trajectory of the bullets
Yes.
is saying that someone is on that inside part of the bed. So if I was robbing your house,
Okay.
I'm going to stand here in this part of the room while I'm threatening you with the gun. I'm not going to put myself in this position, and that's a pretty reasonable
That's why I'm
human
saying there had to
interaction.
be more than one, because while I'm handing the guy the stuff and having the flashlight in my face, I hear gunshots. There's no way he turned around.
Even
I
if
was handing him stuff.
And I understand that, but there's no reason a guy would go past you to go to the small side of the bed.
I wasn't near the bed. I was in the closet.
But why wouldn't he go and shoot him towards the face on this side rather than going and putting himself in a small space like this? See what I'm saying? I have no way to move.
I understand that, but I don't.
So this is what's concerning me, Sean, okay? I mean, we've got no footprints, and there's snow over your car tracks. You know, when you left,
Yeah.
there was plenty of snow over there, so you were left gone for a period of time before the cops showed up. Now, a lot of it isn't you, and I'm not saying that, okay? I'm saying that a time period passed. We have guys that managed to cross soft snow without leaving tracks to get to your front door, to go in. You don't see them when you're standing near the door with the bookcase with the gun. There's snow on the tracks. The dogs don't react. There's no barking from the dogs. You smoke a cigarette on your way, but you're trying to calm down. You have his body position, which is really, really weird. Do you see what
That's what I thought.
see what this is leading me to say?
Yes, I understand, but
Hey, look, I don't think you're a bad person, okay? I know that you love him. I know that. I also know that he made your life difficult. He created arguments. He had a drug problem. I know that, okay? I'm not saying that. If he's getting in your face and you have to protect yourself, that's what we need to get clear now. You see what I'm saying? Everything that I'm reading off to you, do you know what that leads me to believe? That leads me to believe that you're responsible. So if that's self-defense, and if he's in your face, and if you've just had it with the drug abuse, if he's threatening to hit you, if he hits you, we need to know that this is what we're going for. Okay? There's a reason people have to do things, and that's what I'm trying to find is a reason. Let me help you.
that's what I thought you were doing.
That's what I'm still doing. That's what I'm doing right now.
Did not kill my husband.
Then who did?
I don't know.
How do I have so many things? The biggest thing for me that sticks out in my head, there's two things that really, really bother me. There's no footprints. That leaves parachuting in. Okay? And the other thing is, and I don't want to belabor this point because I know it's painful, okay? But the way that he was shot and the caliber of casings is the gun that you had access to. But he's a bad guy is not going to go and put himself in a position like that.
I would have divorced him before I did anything like that. No matter how hard it got, we tried. We always fixed things. Always.
How are things between you two right now?
We're at the greatest.
If 10 is the happiest and 1 is the saddest, how is it right now within the last couple of weeks?
Maybe a 4 or a 5.
He was talking about suicide. If he ever asked you to, could you bring it upon yourself to help him? If he was like, that's it, I'm done, if you love me, you'll help me.
I honestly don't think so, but he never.
Do you know the guys that got into your house?
I do not.
I'm trying to think of everything, okay? The most logical when everything else has been proven, it's usually the most reasonable, okay? The most reasonable conclusion I can come to is it's you. But I will keep an open mind. I will think, was this self-inflicted? Did he do this to himself? Did you do it on his behalf to help him? Did somebody else do this to help him? Did somebody else do this out of malice? I'm looking at all of these options, but these are kind of hard for me to get over. And finally, this one I didn't even talk to you about. The front door was locked as you guys were going out, according to. So
Unless she did something.
these bad guys come into your house, do all of these magical things without leaving any footprints on the outside, with all that stuff. They kill him in cold blood, but they leave you alive as a witness. And then they go through a locked door again.
I don't think that door was locked. You might want to ask her that one again. I don't know.
I did. And in fact, I verified it twice when the first time I talked to her.
I heard that door. You can't miss the sound of that door. I hear it all the time when she goes out.
Did you kill her?
I did not.
Do you know who did kill her?
I do not.
Has he been fighting with anybody?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
How come?
I'm not with him at work. I'm not with him when he goes out.
I'm married. I've been married for a long time. I know everybody that pisses my wife off. Because that's what you do when you get home, is you talk about this stuff.
The only thing that I had heard was apparently there were issues at work, but I don't see anybody at work doing something like that.
Who knew about the safe?
A lot of people, as far as I know.
Okay.
He had people that knew he was growing, and that's why I had it ripped out.
He hasn't been growing for a while, though, has he?
No, I ripped it all out, and I've been telling everybody there's nothing.
How long would you rip it out?
When he was in jail, October,
And where'd you put it all?
I got rid of it, threw it away.
Where?
I told his brother and everybody just to get rid of it.
Did
Last time
he-
I'd seen, it
where
was
was he
ripped
growing?
out, and that was it.
Where was he growing?
There was a room in the garage, and
Vehicle lights and all that stuff? What'd you do with that stuff?
that should still be around there. I don't know what he did with all that. I believe some of them are actually in the first part of the garage still. And then there was a spot around the back of the house where you could look out our window, and they were right there. That's why he had a sensor light right there.
Now that we've been through this a few times, do you remember stopping anywhere else? Has anybody have seen your car at another address before you went to your aunt's? Was it parked in another driveway anywhere?
I thought about going to my boss's, but that was it. I didn't go.
Did you start to go?
Kind of.
Where's your boss live?
I don't know her address.
This was at like midnight, right? Almost 1 o'clock.
I didn't look at the clock.
Not a lot of traffic out at that time, so if
No.
someone saw your car. There's
It's
not that
I
many
guess
white
it's pretty
cars.
obvious.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I was thinking I didn't hear your answer. Where's your boss live?
She's on Pershing. I don't know the address.
So she's on Pershing. Did you
I
pass her
turned
house?
into a random house and didn't know if it was her, so kept going to my aunt's.
How far down from your house is the random house that you pulled into?
I don't even know.
So is that where somebody would have seen your car?
Probably. I feel like I'm being accused here.
I'm not accusing you. I'm asking you to help me to explain all this.
And I understand that.
That's like 10 points that the evidence just isn't showing me that a guy or several guys went into your house. So I have to explain that.
And I understand.
You know when I have to explain that is when I end up in court. But I'm telling you right now that if you are responsible for whatever reason, you probably have a good reason. You're a level-headed person. If you killed him, tell me now. Let me help you. Talk to me about the reasons. I know that you have a personal life, and I know that you don't want to talk to strangers about what's going on in your marriage. But if these are things that drove you to take care of him before he hurt you or whatever, you tell me, and we can work together with that. But I have to have the truth. Remember at the very beginning, some of the first words I said in this room was, just tell me the truth. And that's what I'm asking you to do.
Sounds to me like you're just trying to get me to change it.
I'm trying to get you to tell me how there's no footprints, why the dogs aren't barking, how there's a locked door that they go through, why he's in a weird position in the bed, why he's in
When I opened the door, it wasn't locked. So
You told me the first time that she went through the door first, out to your car.
She went to the car first, yes.
So she went through the door first.
I don't know that she
So
necessarily
she
went
would
to
have
the door
wanted to
first.
check to see if it was locked or unlocked, and she agreed with that. She said that she was the first one through the door.
Okay.
So if she's wrong on that, you're also telling me she's wrong about the argument.
Just because we argue doesn't mean...
I'm looking for the explanation. That's what I'm looking for. I know that the arguments often are just arguments. I know that. But I'm asking you, is there something else that you're not telling me about this? You're the only one that knows. You're the one that's going to tell me. And if I can help you, I want to help you.
I don't know what else to give you.
Tell me what happened last night.
I did tell you.
So there will be no gunshot residue on you anywhere. Not on your clothing, clothing you came in here with, not on the clothing in your house, not on the clothing on your hands, not in your hair, not in your eyelashes. You did not fire a gun last night is what you're telling me.
Last time I fired a gun was Thursday.
So did you fire a gun last night?
Thursday.
Did you fire a gun last night?
No.
Okay. Do you know who did fire the gun last night?
I do not. If I did, I would tell you.
Can you give me any lead to go on? Who knew your house that well? Who knows your dogs? Who knows your husband? Who was mad at your husband? Who knows about the safe? Who would have upended your life like this?
The only one name that comes to mind, I just don't want to believe it. We had another person living with us.
Who's that?
Well, actually, I think his first name is Dick, to be accurate. He was living with us for a while, come out of the blue.
How come you don't tell me about earlier?
I just didn't think that he would.
Look, it's almost 9 o'clock. It's after 9 now. It's been 9 hours. Have you been thinking about how this happened?
I've been thinking of everything.
I absolutely believe that. That's absolutely reasonable.
Trying to see if there's anything I forgot or.
So what brings you to mind?
He lived with us for a while. He was a part of getting rid of the plants when he went to jail.
Does he use?
That's why I kicked him out.
Okay. When was he living with you?
Sometime in September to maybe not even the end of October, because I found out he was tweaking. I told him to get out.
About a month. So he wanted the dogs at that point?
Oh, yeah. He barged in my house all the time.
Okay.
The dogs wouldn't do
Is he
anything.
more friends with you or more friends with the same?
He claims to have known for 25 years. I don't know how accurate that is.
So what brought him to your mind? Just because he knows their house?
The way that he shows up randomly, the way that he's always asking, oh, I need smoke, got any money? The way he's always bouncing around.
Is he violent?
From what he's told me, he has PTSD. I've seen him kind of go off the handle, but not.
Have you seen him hit somebody? Not necessarily you, but has he gone off and gotten people's
threatened.
faces?
I've seen him get in people's faces when
You
I
ever
worked
seen him
at
get
the
into a
bar.
fight?
I have not.
Did he say something about guns when he was making the threats?
I've heard that he has connections.
Is this the only person you can think of? Let me ask you this. Is it possible that Alex did it?
No.
Why are you so certain?
The way that girl is, there's no way. I would have known if it was her. Like, she's a gun and she starts shaking.
Do you keep spare rounds for the
Yes.
pistol? Where were those kept at?
They're in the case underneath the bed.
Okay. And that was the only gun that you were aware of in the house?
Yes.
I know I asked this, I forgot what you said. When we come back with, are you going to have gunshot residue on you?
No, I shouldn't. Unless there's some left from Thursday, but no. I don't know how that works.
Have you had a shower in between
No.
Thursday and last night?
No. I did not take a shower.
Have you washed any dishes?
No.
You washed any dogs?
No.
Washed any kids?
No.
So you've had no water or touch your hands for the last 3 days?
Well, since I've been here now, no.
Okay.
Went to bed Thursday night. Friday, went to work. Sat there, played video games all day. I did the dishes. And it's in the dishwasher.
What was Friday?
What was Friday?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, what was
What
Friday?
was your day Friday like?
He went to work. So started playing Skylanders with my son.
On Friday? Yeah, because you're supposed to there Friday. Okay.
Yeah. Started playing with Alex. Asked for a turn. Took them to the grandparents. Come home. Fixed him something to eat. Fixed him something to eat again. And a Jack and Coke. There was an instance where he did come out in the living room that I'd forgotten about. Went back in the room. I checked on him here and there. About 10:30, we turned it off. And we had our last cigarette. Turned off the Xbox, turned off all the lights. Went to bed.
No arguments?
This is your typical.
And for you, that's about your bedtime and stuff like that?
Yeah. That's average for me.
All right, kiddo. Give me a minute. I can chat here, okay? You both good with it? Do you want anything?
I just want to go to sleep. And at home, or well, not home, but my aunt or something. Can I get my water?
Shauna Dodd was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Investigators discovered Dodd had been plotting to kill Brad for several months. She had attempted to hire a hitman and even tried to poison his favourite drink. At trial, Shauna Dodd was convicted of first-degree murder with a deadly weapon. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.